When the trailer dropped for Joseph Kosinski's next blockbuster, F1, I had a pretty clear idea that this was just going to be something quite similar to Top Gun Maverick, just going to capture the hype that a lot of people had from that movie. And I was sort of right, but I don't think that's a bad thing. In F1, Brad Pitt plays Sonny Hayes, a retired F1 driver who's getting himself back into the game and has to work with the newest hotshot, Joshua Pierce, who's played by Damson, Idris. Let me just start off by saying, despite any problems that I may have with this movie, overall I had a good time. Kosinski's style of filmmaking just has this clean aesthetic that I admire. Whether it is an action sequence or it's a quieter moment, it's going to look good. And those race scenes are great. I've looked up behind the scenes footage just to see how they are filming these. And from what I have gathered, what I have seen, it seems like it actually is Pitt and Idris driving these F1 cars. I thought they were going to be like pulled by another car. Usually that is how some car scenes are filmed. I was thinking maybe there might be another driver in there. That's kind of what they did in Top Gun Maverick. But no, it's actually them driving the cars, and they just have some nice cameras rigged onto them. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of stuntmen that were involved in this. There are some pretty crazy like action sequences, some pretty crazy moves to do on the track that I'm sure Brad Pitt would not want to put himself in real life. But I admire that they did as much as they could. It makes this movie look as authentic as heck. There's no green screen. The actors are actually doing the work, and I think that just makes these scenes a little bit more intense as well. Now, as far as the F1 sport goes, I do not watch it. So I have been told that a lot of the moves, a lot of the things that are happening in these races is kind of outrageous, but to me, it's taken itself seriously. It's believable to me, but also that stuff doesn't really matter to me. What's happening in these races develops these characters, it develops the plot, so it's working for me. And that is the main reason why I can see myself returning to this one day. Because other than that, I thought everything else was solid, but there's nothing much that led me to care about anything else. I was more so just interested to see these races. There are attempts where Kosinski is trying to make these characters interesting, but it has typical tropes and directions, and I just feel like we know where this is going, especially if you have seen Maverick. Now, the movie is trying to make these characters interesting, whether it is with plot or it's with other mechanics that I'll get into, and I don't think they're played poorly. Everyone in this movie does a good job with what they're given. They're just bare bones, which is a little disappointing to say. I wish there was more or something more thematic about these characters. Now, Kosinski will still try to find ways to differentiate these racers. When Pitt is in the car, when he's on the track, the soundtrack is playing classic rock, whereas when Idris is on the track in the car, it's playing like modern hip-hop pop music, which I guess is an interesting way to try to show how they are different, but I think it comes off as a little corny at times, and unfortunately it's overshadowing Hans Zimmer's score, and even then when that's used, it's a little underwhelming. Another big thing about this movie is that you can argue that this is product placement for F1. And yeah, I'm sure it's propaganda for the sport. I have to say, it was also a big product placement for Apple products. I certainly noticed they were everywhere in the movie, but you know, also, I mean, it's an Apple movie, so like, of course they're gonna put their products in. I think it's just a personal problem. I just found it distracting, that's all. Now, you are probably thinking, Ethan, everything that you've said about F1 is just a copy and paste review of Top Gun Maverick. You're absolutely right. A lot of the things that I've just said, you can say the exact same thing about Top Gun Maverick. It has so many similar beats to Maverick, it's just not surprising Kosinski did this. It's a simple formula. It worked really well with Tom Cruise. Why not try it with Brad Pitt? And yes, that's not as entertaining for me, but I still had a good time. The characters are fine and lack some depth, and the movie will find many ways to try to make them interesting, but there's just not enough for me to feel a strong connection. What works though are the races. That's why I think most people are wanting to see this. They just want to see what that's like, and that's cool. They're well crafted to make it feel exciting. Now, was I on the edge of my seat? No, but I still thought it was really cool to watch. Is it enough to make me sit through 2.5 hours of this? Probably, but I will only know for sure whenever I rewatch this, and I don't know when that'll be. I may just want to put on Top Gun Maverick again. The thing is that I don't really care what Kosinski's going to try to tackle next. I don't care if it's another propaganda movie. I don't care if it's a fourth Tron movie. I will pretty much be convinced that I have to see it in a theater, because as of right now, at least blockbuster wise, his films feel big, they look nice, and it's just proof to me that his movies are something you need to see in the theater. And he's getting people to come to the movies to see his work. Cheers to that. I gotta celebrate that. Right now, I'm gonna give F1 a 3.5 out of 5. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching this. If you made it this far, did you see F1? Are you gonna wait till it's on Apple TV Plus, whatever the streaming service is? What do you want to see Kosinski do next? Just let me know. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. Anything is appreciative over here. Just make sure you exercise every day, drink your milk, and have a great day.